There are so many people online that speak about getting rich quick, but in reality, I think financial freedom is really about creating a life of choices. Now, when you no longer have to work for the money that you're earning, you can start to spend more time with your family, train more, start that business, retrain in your career, volunteer your time, contribute to society in a more positive way, or just continue to improve the quality of your life. And I think that's really at the heart of today's video. You know, this video is about 5 decisions that you can start doing almost immediately that are going to exponentially improve your financial position and create wealth for yourself and future generations from today forward.
First one's really simple, which is just the concept of paying yourself first. So, allocating a certain portion of your income into a savings account that's continually building up so that when you are ready to take some action and start investing, you can actually do so.
I remember when I first finished uni, I was literally so used to earning about $300 a week, which was Australian Centrelink plus like washing dishes or serving drinks or cleaning beds.
Yeah, the Ceno.
I remember I got my first job and I'd read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I immediately started to pay myself first. Now, I think my first job was giving me about 50 grand a year, and I was saving about $300 to $400 a week. And I just felt like as soon as I did that and started to build momentum, my life started to shift for the better.
Yeah, for sure. And, one thing that we've always done as well is when our income increases, treating it as more of a percentage of your income rather than a dollar figure, because as your income increases, your savings should also increase as well.
That's beautiful. Now, at different stages of your investment life cycle and your financial life cycle, you'll be able to save a heap more. And then at other stages, it'll become leaner and you'll be able to save less. But continue the habit. I've been doing it now for 11 or 12 years and it has been absolutely incredible for me. Now, the second one, which I'm also big on, is reducing your expenses. Now, a little bit boring, but the way to make it fun is for every single dollar that you can save, that is a dollar that you can go and reinvest in property, crypto, assets, shares, commodities quicker. And every single dollar that you save and reinvest is a dollar that gets you there towards financial freedom sooner. So some of the things that I've done, like a couple of years ago, I think in 2018, I went crazy on this one.
Yeah.
I looked at everything from my electricity bills, phone bills, home loans, investment loans,
insurances.
The days of the week even that I was filling up on my car. Like I just set a limit on exactly how much I'd pay for a litre of petrol. Which I still I still won't pay more than $1.30.
I don't unless premium is under $1.60, I won't fill up.
But for example, with my phones, I went from Vodafone and Telstra, which I had 3 phones. It was costing me $300 a month, to Audi Mobile, which is the Telstra network anyway. And now for 3 phones, I'm paying $45. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that is over a 60% savings. On my different home loans and investment loans for my properties, I went and refinanced all of them and was able to save myself over $25,000 a year, which was insane, like a huge amount of money. With my insurances on my properties, I started to use an insurance broker or directly taking everything to one company online, and was able to save myself at least 30% of my costs of insurances. Now, all of these things don't sound like a lot until I realized that I was saving almost $70,000, which was a full deposit per year, just from doing things a bit smarter. I even went to the case of buying at the local farmers market, so it was saving me about 40% on fruit and veg, buying my meat in bulk at Audi. These are some things that become habits that are a little bit painful at the start that can save a fortune. Now, every year, I can pay $70,000 off my investments, or that's a full deposit to go and buy another one if I feel like it.
Yeah, I think a few extra good things to do when reducing those expenses is, never buying anything that you can't afford. So if you have to get a loan for it or use Afterpay, don't buy it. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. It's a really good rule of thumb. One of the things that my partner and I do is not go out as often to eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Try and limit that to maybe 1 or 2 meals a week where you go out, and then it becomes more of an experience, more of a luxury. And, you know, spending that quality time at home, you know, cooking with fresh produce, cooking in the comfort of your home, can, you know, really add up over time as well.
Is that why you're so big on me buying you a brekkie every Monday morning?
Yeah. Well, that's my one time a week that I go out for brekkie and Ben pays for it.
He legitimately go out for breakfast and he orders the house deposit. It's like the avocado on toast with poached eggs and
that's the best. It costs like $672.
You're like, don't worry, mate. I'll get financial. Simon's going to be financially free at my age, and I'll just be punting away.
The third thing is investing. Now, there's that saying that you can never save your way to financial freedom. And, you know, I personally believe that it's true. You need to invest in other income producing assets. So you choose your avenue. There are so many different options out there. For us, it's property and business. For other people, it might be shares or crypto. You know, however you choose to do it is completely fine, as long as the savings that you're putting away, you're investing that into other income producing assets. Now, why we love property so much is the idea of leverage. My $100,000 allows me to buy an asset worth $500,000, and then I have tenants coming and paying for my interest in that property as well. So investing, you look at any successful person, you think of anybody in your life that is quite wealthy or has more freedom or time on their hands, I can guarantee you they invest quite heavily.
Without a doubt. Now, the fourth thing was one of the best things I ever heard. So I used to try and catch up for a coffee or a juice with between 1 and 3 people per year, and I made that a habit for about 6 years of my life. And one time I caught up with a really successful older guy. Now, he had only built success from the age of 50, and I think he was about 65 and retired at that point. He started late. He, at that time, I think owned 19 properties,
Wow.
2 businesses, had a whole heap of shares, was doing developments, you know, had stocks as well, was in commodities. Like, he was just across a whole bunch of stuff. And I took him out and I asked a simple question, which you should ask every successful person every time you get the opportunity to, and that is, you know, what would you do differently, or what is the number one thing that's enabled you to get to this position over such a short period of time?
Yeah, 15
because he had done it in a short period. And he said to me, most people, you know, if you think about your financial position as a bike wheel, there's the cog in the center. I don't know what the language is for that. What's it called? You might not know either.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
And then there's the spokes that go out to the tire. Now, most people at the center of that cog, which is where the stability is, have their job, and that's completely okay. But he said to me, every single time you invest, it's a spoke.
Yeah.
And over time, that wheel will increase in strength and size as a result of more and more spokes. So you, in a bike, can't have 2 spokes and expect the tire to stay stable. But when you've got multiple streams of income, and he said what you want to do over time is replace at the center of that wheel a business, and then you actually want to replace that business with passive income. So he's like, it's always going to start with a job, then a business, and then investments. But he's like, you are really financially free and successful when at the center of the wheel and the majority of your income is coming in passively. Now, me and Simon have business. We've got a bunch of investment properties, some of them with combined income. And then we've also got things like super, as well as a little bit of shares. Now, we're both young and we're still putting in the spokes.
Yeah.
And we don't have financial freedom, you know, in the sense of like passive income replacing the center, but we're both working on it. And I think that analogy has stayed with me, and I've been really following through on that all the way, because it is such an important thing. When you are personally at the center in a job or a business as a spoke, it is so reliant in terms of your choices in your life and your wealth position based on that. You pull yourself out of there with sickness, injury, in some families, unfortunately, early death, or just a bad market, and it can really destroy you. But if you're diversified at the center, I think Tony Robbins and Ray Dalio say a fully diversified person would have up to about 18 different streams of income from different things coming into that center. That's true safety.
Yeah, it's risk diversification as well, because as you said, you know, if you're a carpenter and you injure your back, you can't work. And then, you can't, if that's your only source of income, then you're screwed. But if you've got multiple different streams, or, if you've got your job, you've got some shares, you've got a property, you've got some crypto, if one of them crashes or one of them goes into a bad period, then you've got these others to prop it up a little bit as well. So just, erring on the side of caution there as well. Now, the last one, the fifth one, is basically delaying the gratification and essentially reinvesting the profits. And this has been what's enabled Ben and myself really exponentially grow our portfolio and help dramatically on our journey to financial freedom. It is sticking to all of these different 5 steps consistently and reinvesting those profits into more income producing assets, because that's sped up the process to accumulate those assets. And it's just been by delaying that gratification just a little bit. So, avoid buying the new expensive car. I'd love to be driving a beautiful new car, but I've chosen to spend, only $15,000 on a new car because I don't want to have to go out there spending $45,000, $50,000 on the car that I really want to drive, but then miss out on being able to invest that $35,000. Same thing goes. I want to buy myself a motorbike, but I'm not going out there buying a brand new top of the line $15,000 motorbike. I'm wheeling and dealing, trying to find an affordable one that's only going to cost me, $1,000 to $2,000 of my own money. So I'm delaying the gratification of having the nice, shiny new things and going for something that's more affordable to enable myself to set myself up, accumulate these assets first, which down the line is going to have a massive impact.
I love that, man. And it's been 11 years. It's really only in the last year that I've started to slightly increase my lifestyle in terms of my home that I'm living in and my car. And I delayed for so long, and the effect of delaying and reinvesting is it might not look great on the outside to other people, but it looks great to investors and smart people and business people because they can see the compound effect of the harder decisions you're making now. But, when I see people that have big car debt, big home loans on properties that are their own principal place of residence too soon, I'm just like, oh man, you've just cost yourself 15 years of your life without even knowing it. So if you can try to, and I know especially for those of you living in Sydney and Melbourne, it is so hard to do this because it's all about the clothing, the cars, the phone, where you're seen and stuff. But it's if you can just delay that gratification, everything will change for you. And instead of getting there in 25 to 30 years because you spent the first 10 to 15 with the wrong assets as your base, if you can invest the right assets in the first 10, I just can't see any world that exists where most people can't achieve financial freedom in a reasonable period of time, 10 to 20 years, if they do this right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get, we're calling it wealth here. Trying to get wealthy as soon as possible, because once you're there, then you've got choices for the rest of your life. And, that's an exciting concept for myself.
Imagine your life where you woke up and there was the choice to go to work or not to go to work that day. Because
what would you do?
The income streams coming into you are just, passive without you worrying about it. And then you manage them in a business-like manner where you're managing key managers and you've got a system in place for them to protect your asset and manage it correctly. It is super, super exciting. So pay yourself first, reduce your expenses, invest, create multiple streams of income, and then reinvest your profits and delay your gratification are the 5 biggies for us. These are things that we've been doing. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. In fact, it's going to require you to get completely out of your comfort zone and shell, but after doing this for the last 11 years, it's completely changed mine, my family's, and my kids' life forever.
It's just habitual now. It just happens now. It's so easy.
These are rituals. These are daily practices. These aren't just things that I'm trying to incorporate into my life and changing habits from the past.
Yeah, so thanks so much for listening today, guys. If you are listening on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay in touch. And if you want, go and check out our Facebook and Instagram, Pumped on Property. Give us a like, give us a follow. We're posting much more personal information on there. data quotes every single day about what's happening around Australia, case studies, different ideas that we're thinking of at any given time. What we're really trying to do is just build that awareness, just change the stigma around the real estate world, and help people make smarter decisions so that they can be financially free at an earlier age, so they can have choices at an earlier age, so they can live to their true potential.
Have a spin.
Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty.